Nice. This is a video about a final project for a class at the Harvard Extension School. It's a CS course called Big Data Analytics, and we're going to be talking about a product called the Feature Ranker. My name is Gus Santaella. The co-author with me in this project was Vivek Mishra. So what is the Feature Ranker? The Feature Ranker is an application that aggregates customer reviews for a particular product, and then it produces a sentiment score for the product as a whole, as well as components of the product based on just consumer reviews from online retailers. Okay, so assume that you're interested in buying a television. Okay, you will search through this television. This application will then extract information about the television itself and extract all of the customer reviews, and then return a graphical depiction of what is the perceived sentiment of the product and all of the components. So what are really people talking about? It also shows you not only the product that you're interested, but also the related items. It could be, in the case of a television, different televisions of the same brand with different sizes, or just competitor TV. So if you're looking for a Sony, for instance, you would could get back like Samsung or Vizio television, so on and so forth. Okay. Um, the application is divided into three main components. The first component is responsible for extracting all of this product information and customer reviews. Currently, we are talking to Amazon. That's where we are for this prototype. That's where we're actually extracting all of the product information and all of the reviews. They have a ton of great APIs for people to connect to. The second component is where we are mining the actual review and producing a sentiment score. So the second component is written primarily using Python NLTK, that's Natural Language Toolkit library, great library to just parse text. Okay, and then last we are saving the results in a Neo4j database. It's a graphical database, open source. It's a great product. This product is intended for shoppers, everyday Joes, people like you and me, but also marketing departments, product marketers, really any stakeholder that is interested in the sentiment and what really people are talking about um, specific products. Okay, so a bit of reasons behind the project. Um, I'm not sure about you guys, but really, anytime I go out there and before I buy a product or even before I visit a restaurant, I I research for reviews online. Um, Actually, there was a recent study made that 84% of people trust online reviews as if it were personal recommendations from a family or a friend. So this is impressive stuff. Um, More and more, this public opinion has become accessible. We're being bombarded constantly by social media, blogs, YouTube, websites, all over the place. Everybody seems to be an expert. So um, this product, it's really it's going to help collect this information because it can be a bit cumbersome, right? It's collecting all these different data sources and just aggregating for really what people are talking about. It's a hard task. Okay. Um, I think people have adopted the star rating system has become more and more mainstream. The challenge there is that different retailers might scale it differently. You might have a retailer that might use a um, five, 5-star rating system and another one that might use a 10 rating system. And the primary limitation is that you might find great information for the entirety of the product, so the whole product, but not detailed information about certain components of that product. You might be interested in a particular feature. So for example, in a camera, you might, weigh in more the fact that it has a great lens, versus, being clunky or heavy to carry. So this product tries to tell you that overall score, not only for the product, but all of the components. Okay. So the first aspect of it is extracting all of that product information in the customer reviews. So this piece has been written in both Java and Python. We are really extracting. The objective is to generate two files. Okay, the first file is what we call the feature file. That it's all of the information regarding the product, any type of property, measurements, anything that people could really mention in their reviews. Okay, and then the second piece is the customer reviews itself. So it's that list of all of the reviews, in this case in Amazon. Okay, we are actually using 3 APIs to do this. They're called item attributes, similarities, and related items. They're all available via the product advertisement API of Amazon. There's a caveat. You do need to register as an associate. You're required a key and a secret access key. I'm assuming for security purpose, but it's just not publicly available to everyone. I mean, it's free. The registration is just something to be aware of. Okay. The second aspect of it is so the first was extracting the features of the product. The second is the customer reviews. So the customer reviews is not as straightforward. When you're pinging Amazon, what they return is not a list of reviews, but actually a URL, and where the reviews are housed. And this URL is contained, all the features are really contained in an iframe. Okay. So it became a bit tricky to actually extract all these reviews, which is why we used a program called Beautiful Soup to help us collect all of this information. Okay, but this component will produce primarily two files. Okay, two JSON files. They could be, just think of it as two big dictionaries where the key is the actual ID of the product, identified by the ASIN number. That's the Amazon unique ID number of the product. And then whether if it's the value of the dictionary, whether it is a list of just the collection of all of the properties of the product or just a list of all of the reviews. Okay. The second aspect of this application is where we're actually reviewing the features and the customer reviews. So the first step is iterating through all of the features. There's a lot of stuff that we need to clean up. There might be some properties that are so obscure or just weird codes that we need to remove out of the list. And then there is a synonym extraction. So when people are reviewing or just typing, discussing something about a product, they might not use the exact word that appears in the feature list. For example, if you're talking about picture, you could refer to it as image. So we're extracting the features and the synonyms of these features before we actually mine the reviews itself. Okay. Then we extract what is called a concordance, which in essence is the amount of times a particular word is being mentioned in a passage, the passage being the review itself, and then the context. Okay. Once we have that concordance, which pretty much think of it as being the sentence of where the word is being mentioned, we then score, we derive the sentiment and we provide a score. Okay, so to come up with this score sentiment, we've leveraged a library inside of the NLTK package called Vader. It stands for Valence Aware Dictionary and Sentiment Reasoner. Okay, this it has a couple of great functions, but one of them actually returns a positive, negative, and a neutral index. Okay. So with this information, we were able to provide a score where if the sentiment is positive, we will give it a score of 1. If it's negative, we will give it a score of -1. Or if it's neutral, meaning there wasn't enough information to say if the overall context was positive or negative. Okay. We then aggregate all of these scores to provide an overall sentiment score for every feature in a product. Okay. We are then sending all of this information from Python to the Neo4j database. Okay. So this database really has the schema is pretty straightforward. Is 4 nodes and 2 different relationships. The first node is the product. Okay. The product will have the ID, several information about this product, as well as the overall sentiment. And then the bubbles surrounding it will be the actual features. Okay. They're color coded based on sentiment. So the green being positive, yellow being just neutral, and then red being negative. Okay. You will see it's not depicted in this picture, but you will see not only the product of interest, but also the related item. So every related item will have features mentioned around it. So it's more to put it in context of what are people talking about the product that you're interested, but also what are people talking about other related items. Maybe your product is being perceived more positively compared to its peers, or vice versa. So that was the whole purpose around of displaying this information in a graphical manner. Okay. So some of the lessons learned of this project. The first one I would say is steal with pride. The beginning, we tried building our own sentiment algorithm, and we failed miserably. It's pretty hard. It's very hard to parse text, which is why we've leveraged that great library called Vader inside of NLTK that I was discussing previously. Great stuff. Okay. The second aspect was that customer reviews are actually not that straightforward to extract. Here we're focused. I mean, we've for this prototype we've only synced with Amazon, so I cannot really comment on other retailers. But we had to use some third parties here. I'm mentioning Beautiful Soup to help us really extract all that information from the website. Okay. The third aspect, and this also pertains to Amazon's API, is the product features itself, that the format is not consistent, even for products within the same category. Okay. Where I think they give a ton of liberty to manufacturers and retailers to put in the information that they feel is relevant. So, for example, when I'm extracting product information for a Sony television, what I get back might be very different from the information that I get back from a Samsung TV or a Vizio TV. Okay, so the format is not consistent, even within the same category. So for this prototype, we're really focused on televisions and cameras of specific brands. Okay. In terms of the next steps, we actually acquired the domain FeatureRanker.com. So the plan is to continue working on this platform. It's still in its early stages. Maybe build a website, include some searching capabilities and some visualization, maybe JavaScript D3. Deploy it in an Amazon Web Services, and also include other retailers. Okay. We plan also to enhance the sentiment algorithm and maybe qualify a particular review based off if it comes from an expert or not. Well, thank you for joining us, guys. That's a wrap. I hope you liked our product. Cheers.